Hello, I'm Christine Franklin, and I am an executive wellness coach who helps busy people find relief from stress and live vibrantly.
And my name is Silvana Siskov. I'm a health coach, nutritionist, and I wrote numbers of books focusing on health, weight loss, and nutrition. And I help people to improve their relationship with food, lose weight, and feel their best. And today we are going to talk about weight loss versus fat loss. It's an
Yes,
interesting topic, isn't
it
it?
is something that's not talked about often enough.
Yes, and people often get very confused about it.
Yes.
So, what do you think about it?
Well, first off, we come back to what I talked about some time ago, where we were looking at something regarding weight loss, and I talked about how I don't even own a scale. And
Yes, I remember. I
the
remember.
yes, the good reason for that is because I prefer not to focus on weight loss. First of all, I prefer weight management in a healthy way. And secondly, weight loss is not the top priority, especially when we're talking about fat loss. Because with weight loss, you can be losing weight for a variety of reasons. So if you're just watching the scale, you could be losing a combination of muscle, possibly some fat, possibly some water weight. So just because you're losing actual weight according to the numbers on the scale, it doesn't mean that you're actually losing the fat, which is the top priority. And if you're losing muscle, that's actually not where you want to be, because you do want to keep a good body composition of muscle, a good ratio of muscle to fat. So you still definitely need to have that muscle in there, and muscle does way more than fat, it's more dense. So looking at the scale can be misleading if we're just looking at the numbers that measure our weight. So that's my take on it. What about you?
Yeah, it's interesting that just this morning I had a call with the client and we had a long conversation about weight loss and fat loss because she said that she lost only inch in around her waist in the last couple of weeks, and she was very unhappy about it because she hasn't lost any weight. Her scale shows the same number as it did 2 weeks ago. So yeah, in my opinion, really fat loss is much better indicator of a healthy body. And because with the weight loss, you could lose, as you mentioned, you could lose the water, you could lose a muscle, and the scale is going to show that you lost some weight. But that
Yeah.
is not the best indicator of how healthy you are. And what often happens when we are ill, we spend few days in bed. We don't drink much
Mm-hmm.
water, we don't eat much, therefore we lose water, we lose muscle, and if we go on a scale, the scale is going to show that we lost some weight.
Yes,
But
it's
as
true.
soon as we start eating again, we're going to put the weight on.
Yes,
Yeah.
very true.
So really, when it comes to weight loss or a fat loss, yeah, fat loss to me is yeah, it's something that we need to focus on. And the best way to measure it is simply do body measurements around the
Mm-hmm.
chest, waist, and hips. That's the best way
Yes,
to do it.
yes,
Yeah,
it's true.
yeah. Do you do your body measurements?
I do. I haven't done them for a long time because I typically stay pretty steady. So I guess at some point I just didn't bother because I
Yeah.
can usually also tell how my clothes are fitting. So I probably would measure if I felt like, oh, something feels different. But
Mm-hmm.
yes, typically that's what I do. When I had, I would say, a pretty significant transformation in
Mm-hmm.
my body weight, shape, lean muscle, all of that, when I
Mm-hmm.
started a program, that was in 2014. And it was just a shift in my lifestyle. It wasn't a program for X amount of weeks or anything. So basically, I've continued with the same lifestyle. So my weight is managed pretty easily
Mm-hmm.
because, most days it's the same thing, you know. And I remember at that point, though, I was measuring because I wanted to see what the transformation was that was happening. Although I could already tell, but I wanted to really measure it. and it was fascinating. It was fascinating to see where I was losing inches and how even my body structure changed as muscle developed rather than fat, So it was really, really interesting. So yeah, I don't measure on a regular basis, but from time to time I do.
And the other day I was looking at some posts in one of the Facebook groups. It was a Facebook group about the fat loss. And one of the ladies said that she started to do quite lots of exercise. And she said her clothes fit her better. She feels better. She definitely lost lots of inches. But she said the scale is not moving much.
Right.
And she was extremely unhappy about it. She was asking for people to support her. And it's so often that I see people doing that.
Yeah.
They feel better, they look better, the clothes fit them better, but they're unhappy because the scale hasn't moved.
Yes. Because we've been told so often about an ideal weight, and that's what people think is the ultimate measure, when it really isn't. It's so misleading. So hopefully someone will take something away from this and recognize that the numbers on the scale may not change, although you're healthier. So as you said, measuring is probably the best way to see what changes are taking place, and it's a good sense, it gives you a good sense of how healthy you're being. And at the gym that I used to go to, they had the caliper as well to measure the actual fat on your body. So that was another good way to actually know how much fat is there, what percentage of your body composition is fat.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I used to use that in a gym. Yes, but simply for people at home, the best way is just to use a tape measure, and that's it. You don't need anything else. You can buy it on Amazon for, I don't know, $50.
It's true.
And I will repeat again, just the best way to measure it is to measure around the chest, waist, and hips. And that's the kind of the best indicator of how healthy you are and how well you are progressing.
Yes. So very good advice. So hopefully this helps some people to rest easier, knowing that you don't have to watch those numbers on the scale. Just have a healthy lifestyle where you then measure your progress, as you said, according to your body measurement.
I mean, to keep an eye on your weight is obviously recommendable, otherwise, if you never, well, maybe not for you, you don't even have a scale, but for lots of people, if they never ever get on a scale, they won't know what's going on. They kind of, it's going to be unclear in their head how well they're doing. So to keep an eye on it is okay, but not to be obsessed with it.
Yes. Yeah, I typically will find out my weight when I do a health check, or at the gym. I'll just check it maybe once or twice a year, just so I know. And it's been steady for a long, long time. But I'll still, just check just to know, once a year or twice a year. And that's good enough for me.
You're probably unique, but yeah. But different from lots of people I know.
Yeah. If I fluctuate, it's probably by a couple pounds, and that's it. 2 pounds, and that's it.
Yeah. Okay, so next week, it's going to be an interesting one. We are going to talk about celebrity diet tips. I mean, we always read and hear about celebrities doing this diet and that diet, and they're losing lots of weight. And so we're gonna have a talk about it and see what we're gonna come up with, and see if we're gonna discover any new diets or any new tips. So it's gonna be a good one.
It is. Looking forward to seeing everyone then.
See you next week.